We had we had another movie that you brought to us. Another intense
Yes.
effed up movie about
Yes.
kids.
My movie is The Man from Nowhere, starring Bin Woo, Se Kim, and some few other n- names that well, there are like a few other names in there
Yeah,
of people who are kind of notable, kind of not.
yeah. Some
But
faces
it's a
like
really good movie, where a this kind of man who just kind of exists, the man from nowhere, gets mixed up in this turmoil of this mother who's a drug addict and this, her daughter, getting kidnapped, and, deciding to save the girl because, he has kind of this connection with the girl. And, you kind of come to find out as the movie goes along that he's like this ex-military dude and like all this other stuff. But like the setup for the movie and generally the setups for these kind of movies is just like, oh, mysterious guy and cute little girl have relationship that is kind of sort of weird, but not really. And then like you go through movie, oh, something happens to little girl, parents are killed, oh, he goes to save her, blah, 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 blah. But the setup to this is a lot more beautiful where she already wants to try to rely on this dude.
yeah,
But he's kind of, constantly, like, he helps her here and there, but he constantly is kind of pushing her away until the point where the simple thing that happens, and she's like, she gives him that speech in the alley of just like, you know what? Thank you, because now I know my life is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now I know I'm a worthless little piece of shit. Like, because the one person I thought would help me when shit hit the fan didn't. You know?
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and then when shit really does hit the fan, he's like, all right, like,
yeah.
I gotta redeem myself on that one.
Yeah. And the movie is it's an action movie. Like
Yes.
there's
Mm-hmm.
no bones about that. It's a very intense action movie, very well shot action movie.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Like one of the best aspects of it is how everything is laid out and shot, and each scene is built and constructed visually is so like really cool and interesting, and so many moments that where things are lit in a certain way or angled in a certain way is so cool. Like what are your like your favorite moments like visually for the movie?
Like the kind of first scene at like that golf club place or whatever, well, like kind of the first big action scene. Like you see the golf club, the little like driving range or whatever, and it's kind of set up as this cool place, and you kind of go back to it a few times, and then when the first bit of real action happens there, like how like the kind of the twist and turns like that they take when chases are happening and stuff like that. And even better before that, like the first scene in the apartment, in a small apartment where he like kind of takes the dude out,
Yeah.
and then like the camera is kind of fixed, but it still has jumps, like it still has places that it kind of goes to,
Yeah.
but it's not like trying to like fucking John Woo, like Michael Bay around the fight and turn it into a 3D motion and like all kind of other shit. Like it just kind of is like, you're going to watch this fight happen. And a lot of the fights and the shooting and shit, it's really visceral, because it's not one of those movies where people get shot and they're like, keep going. Like people get shot and they're like, oh, fuck, like, no.
Like, people get stabbed in the shoulder and get a knife dug into there, and like it has intense action scenes, blood, gore, craziness. It also has those tracking shots where I think one of the best shots is he's trying to escape from the cops, and you see you're following him, and there's a window behind him. And he makes the decision to jump out that window, and the camera in one take smoothly follows him out that window. Like, I want to see that shot being made. Like, the cameraman jumping out there, or whatever they had to do as far as that. Cause that camera smoothly follows him out onto the floor and into, I think, the car, I believe, and just in one smooth take, and it was an amazing shot. And that's, I think, the bread and butter of these action movies is the cinematography and how you can follow the action and pace the action and shoot the action. And I think, and the acting is good. I think, I don't know. I didn't really get a big impression on the acting. Wonbin, I think, yeah, Wonbin, is good. I think he plays a very aloof character, which is kind of a somewhat easy character to play, and relatively speaking, it's kind of the go-to action hero. He's mostly written deep. I think he plays him very aloof and very intense and very broody, you know. And he does a good job at it. It's just there's not much there. I don't know. At least to me, I don't know about how you.
No, they're like he's meant to be the quiet, brooding dude, and then you like everything comes to everything comes to a head in the middle and the end, and you find out more about him. And there's more scenes of him acting with his family and things like that, and like all these little things that you find out about him that are supposed to mean something. But like you said, you kind of go through this movie and you kind of want certain things from him at times, like especially like the scene where the girl is like being accused of stealing the book bag. She's getting yelled at and, you know, kind of hit and all this stuff, and he just kind of walks away. And then they're having that discussion in the alley that I talked about that is really powerful from her. It's really powerful from acting from the little girl at that point, but you still get nothing from him, you know? Yeah. And you're like something, like give me, just give it to me. Like, make a face. Like, go,
yeah,
like,
it's very, very Ryan Atwood-esque acting from him. Just very, I'm pensive.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where you don't usually get that a lot from action movies, so you aren't surprised that it's not there. You always would love to see it happen. You always would love to see it. You may not be the thing you're supposed to get, but it'd be nice if that was there, like a little bit more, you know, strong acting. But I mean, that's beside the point. You got, you know, fun villainous characters. I mean,
like the villains are really fun and silly, like especially though, like the one kind of hip dude that's always like trying to take care of his clothes and like hates when shit happens, and he's just like
this is designer. This is designer. This is expensive. This is like, I don't remember what brand it was, but it's like, Dolce & Gabbana. You got blood on this. It's like, meanwhile, this person's like, has an axe in their head. And what he's thinking about is the fact that he got blood on his Dolce & Gabbana shirt. Like, this is a ridiculous character. And they're all the characters are fun. And like I did have an interesting moment. I think one of the groups is supposed to be Chinese. I don't know, because like I know that when I was listening to their Korean, I was like, it has a weird accent to it. Like, like I've been watching so much Korean dramas and like variety shows that I noticed that it's like that has an odd accent to it.
Something slightly odd. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's Korean, but I don't know. And then I think and then when the fact that they had the Chinese major had to talk to Wonbin's character because they didn't get the memo about the switch up, you know, of the delivery guy, you know. It was an interesting thing, but like, that was an interesting moment for me, knowing that like I've been this deep into Korean media that I'm starting to understand, even without speaking the languages. I'm starting to understand the accents, you know, like that's Korean, that's not Korean. But beside that, the acting was okay. The action, the cinematography was insane. And I think it all, the storyline kind of goes through where you expect it, where it's a revenge movie. So you have some good kills. And that's, you know, that's what you expect in this kind of movie, some good quality kills. And I think this is one of them, I believe you teased about. I don't remember if you mentioned it when you first talked about it, was the scene where he ties the dude up in the room, turns on the gas, and has that lantern hanging there and tied to that bag of like whatever drugs it was.
Sand.
Whatever. Yeah. And just like it just gives him a nice speech and then slices it open and watches it fall down. It's
right.
It's like,
and it's so like it shows like, oh, this dude is serious. Like,
yeah. He means business. And you see him like, let's talk about this. Like pleading for help. It's like, and you see the fear in his eyes, and you see that explosion. It's insane. It's kind of satisfying in a way as well, and it's kind of cool. And of course the final, I think that the ultimate boss fight, which was against I forget the characters. I think
he was basically just like he was basically just like a hired gun.
Yeah.
It's like, and then his job at that point was just set out to kill that dude, and he didn't care about anything else. He just wanted to fight that dude. Yeah. He's like, oh man, this dude is kind of a badass. Like, I want to fight him. like, when do we set that part up? When do I get to fight him?
Yeah. But I have to say, the first moment I heard somebody start speaking English that looked like a foreigner, I got scared. I was like, what? Oh man, some bad English speaking acting. Oh no.
Yeah, but it wasn't bad though.
It was good. It got better. I think it was awkward at first in the one scene, and I think it scared me, but he was fine the rest of the time.
Yeah, I think it's that first scene in the apartment, and he's just like, your guy is down. like that very like kind of way of talking. Like, he is down. I do not know what happened yet. Here, he wants to talk to you.
Yeah.
Like,
but I think it's I wonder if that is a thing that happens where they hear these actors speak naturally, and it's like, I don't understand your English. Speak more stilted and enunciate everything. I want to hear every syllable. It's like okay.
I want to hear every letter.
Oh god. But luckily it turns out better, and he was kind of a cool, intense, crazy character that kind of loved him some bloodshed.
Yeah.
He definitely, and he had his special knife. He had his special signature knife that he loved to like twirl around, and it was kind of a cool moment. And that last boss fight was like it was satisfying. I think it was satisfying in the way it needed to be. It was intense. It was back and forth. It didn't get brushed over. It had a moment. It was a moment that mattered, and it was booked right. It was booked as the main event. If you want to book this as a wrestling event, that was the main event. And then everything after that is just cleanup. But it was a cool moment, and then they finally and then the emotional connection kind of comes out back in the aftermath with the girl.
Yeah.
We talked about the possibility of, he didn't want to spoil it, but the possibility of the girl not surviving or surviving. We find out that everything is okay, because they, and from what's implied is from that guy, her life gets saved because, what we see is eyeballs that he's told are hers. And, he was about to like save with every fiber of his life. And the other guy shoots, and it blows up to piss him off, to involve a fight. But then we see that she's fine, still has her eyes, but we find out it was the surgeon that got his eyes dug out. So it's like,
and that is such a like if you get trapped in the movie, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you get trapped in that movie and you allow yourself to kind of get trapped in that movie, that scene where they fucking bowling ball the eyes to him.
Yeah. It's like,
and they're like, yeah, so about that.
Strike.
Like, did you think you were gonna win? And you're like, no. Like, you cut her eyes out. And he's like, oh, okay, everyone dies now.
It's like, okay, that's just how it's gonna be. Everyone's gonna die. Okay, you're gonna die. You're gonna die. Oh, you're definitely gonna die. hey, you over there, the extra. Oh, you're gonna die too. That's the boom operator. I don't care. Everybody's gonna die.
Sure.
It's just, and then it culminates, and then they finally, and the scene at the end, and before they find out that she's okay, is with the bulletproof car.
Oh my god.
He fires into the car. He's like, it's bulletproof. Screw you. You can't shoot me. Shoot all you want. And he puts it onto the windshield, and just starts firing. It's like,
at the same spot, like, over and over and over and over. And you're just like,
okay.
Holy shit. Right. You're like, that's not gonna, wait.
It worked. It's like, you see, it's a hole. It's like, I got one bullet left. It's like, boom. And he's in there. And I do have to wonder if we can contact Mythbusters to talk about, I like the fact that, they understood the difference between bulletproof and bullet resistance, which a lot of these bulletproof like windows on these cars are bullet resistant. They can take some shrapnel and take a bullet, but if you dig at them, you can crack them and you can make a hole. But I have to wonder, specifically not about that, but specifically about shrapnel and ricocheting.
Yeah.
Because where are those bullets going? Because they're going
they have. If you notice, he starts to like get hit by pieces because he jolts a couple times. Like, oh fuck, I hit myself. Like, but he just keeps going.
Oh, okay. Because I missed. I just was looking at
the big gash that's on his cheek at the end is from shrapnel.
Okay. Because that's sort of the main thing I was wondering about. I was like, where are those bullets going? It's like, okay. Because I was mainly looking at the hole.
You gotta go back and watch that scene again. Like, you'll see like shit start to tatter his clothes and his face and shit like that, and you'll see him like shake shit off, like, because he's just in this moment of like, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill you. I kill you. You die.
Right. And he's like, I've made that decision.
And then we find the girl, and then it's cute moment time after that, and it's like, they go back to the shop where she shoplifted, and they get new school supplies for her, and like they say goodbye, and you get the final emotional moment where they tie it back into the flashbacks where he finally shows some emotion finally, and he asks her to hug her one time. Just one time. Let me hug you. And it's like, yes, hug her.
But that's also that kind of thing, because usually at the end of these movies, the guy who's like going to save the person usually gets some kind of redemption and doesn't have anything happen to him, or he dies.
Yeah.
Right? This movie takes that nice middle path where he didn't die, but they're like, dude, you murdered a bunch of people. You are going to jail.
You're going to jail.
I'm glad you killed bad people and you saved this little girl, but the wake of bodies and explosions behind you need to be paid for.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was like, it's like, all right, I understand he accepts it. I'm going to go away for a long time. Let me just have this one thing. Just one favor.
Right.
And then, they get the end of the movie. And I think overall, it's just a really solid, fantastic action movie. If we can nitpick talk about, we wanted more from the acting. The villains are silly, but you know what? It's an action movie. It's okay to have them be silly. They're fun.
The villains in this were a lot less cartoony than the lady in Silence. Okay? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She was a goddamn cartoon villain if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. But overall, it's a fantastic action movie, and I think everyone should check it out. It is definitely worth.
Both of these movies are definitely worth a good checkout, but I recommend do not watch them back to back, please.
Yeah.
For your eyes and your sanity and your sadness muscles, do not watch these movies back to back. It is a fucking terrible existence you will put yourself through. Like there's not an amount of Disney movies in the world that who will equal the sadness of watching these two movies back to back. Like watch the action movie, then watch a couple of Disney movies, watch Frozen, and then go ahead and go watch The Man from Nowhere.
watch Frozen, watch Hyorin's version of Let It Go, maybe watch that a little bit, watch Ember's New Groove. It's a nice movie. Then watch The Man from Nowhere. Yourself a buffer.
Just put something in the middle, please.
You need a movie buffer, just for your own sanity.
Because I watched Silence, and then I totally recalled in my head The Man from Nowhere, and I was like, fuck life, bro.